Hello, this is Breakfast with Louise Minchin and Bill Campbell.
Hello, morning. It's Tuesday, the 3rd of November.
Good morning. Cycling's good for your health, but could it be good for business? I'm speaking to the former Olympic cyclist Chris Boardman, who says investing in our cycle network is good for the economy.
13 minutes to 8. Cycling's good for your health, so Lou's always telling me. But could it be good for business?
Steph is speaking to former Olympic cyclist Chris Boardman, who says investing in our cycle network is good for the economy. They both have more now. Good morning.
Yes, good morning to you both. Not just Chris, but also a group of businesses and campaigners as well. Morning, everyone. Yeah, they've written to the Chancellor asking for more money to be invested in cycling. They argue that as well as being good for your health, riding your bike can be good for the economy. Now, the letter has been signed by some big names from the business world, such as Sky, Halfords, drugs firm GlaxoSmithKline and Virgin Trains as well. Well, with me now, as Lou said, is the former racing cyclist Chris Boardman, who's campaigning with British cycling on this issue. Good morning to you, Chris.
Good morning.
So why is it good for the economy?
Well, at the moment, inactivity, if you wrap it all together, is costing us just under £1 billion a week, which is incredible. It's a huge cost. And people want to ride to work. We've surveyed them, and nearly 3/4 of people we asked said, I'd love to cycle more if I felt safer. So it's about space, and that's about investment. So what we want is the Chancellor to make sure in the next budget that there is sufficient funding to make a meaningful change to the way we get around. David Cameron's already said, I'd like to see a cycling revolution, I'd like to see us rival our European neighbours. To do that takes commitment, and we've yet to see that happen.
How unsafe is it at the moment to try and cycle?
Well, it's not, actually. It's not. It's now more people are killed gardening than they are cycling, believe it or not, which is a flippant but I think important remark to put it into context. But it doesn't look safe and it doesn't feel safe, and that's the most important thing, because that's how we make our decisions. So it has to look appealing to people.
So how do you do that?
Well, you give people space. I mean, you have to allocate some space, and where roads are fast, you separate the space for cyclists, and then people will use it. It has to be joined up as well. It has to make it easy and a pleasant thing to do. It shouldn't be feel uncomfortable and dangerous to just ride to work, which is good for all of us.
You're asking with these businesses for the government to foot the bill for this, but what about businesses putting their hands in their pockets to do it as well?
Well, they should certainly do their bit, and I'm sure that they will. They will help with parking and facilities for staff, but the road infrastructure, which belongs to all of us and we all pay for, is down to government how that money is allocated. What it would actually cost, believe it or not, is so incredibly small. £600 million a year is roughly what it is for the entire country. And to put that into perspective, something I've said before, that's what it costs to refurbish one tube station in London. So it's not a lot. So what this network is asking for is 5% of the transport budget. So 600 million, and George Osborne announced last week that he's going to spend 100 billion over 5 years on infrastructure. So just make this a part of that.
So what would that 5% money get you then? What would we physically see different if we were out on our bikes?
What we need to see, it's not just money, it's also legislation. It's everybody getting involved to make it work. But what it would actually mean is you'd have space for people to ride bikes, and it would be joined up. So when I get on my bike, I'm on a bike path, or the space for me, I'm protected, I feel comfortable, and it goes all the way to my workplace or schools. In the Netherlands, 50% of kids ride to school. Wouldn't that be fantastic if it was like that here? Is
there enough space there, though, to create these cycle lanes? Because some people would argue, actually, the roads are already busy enough, and to add a cycle lane would just, take up even more space, and that'd be too difficult to do.
Cyclists take up about the space of 9 cyclists is 1 car. So, and you can see it in the Netherlands now. If you actually look at the amount of cyclists, and you say, well, if I put those people back into cars, it'd be gridlocked. London is now investing heavily in cycling because they can't afford not to. They have to. Projecting forward 20 years, they need to get people out of cars. So it's really, we've got to do it.
OK, Chris, well, it'll be interesting to see what the government has to say in response to this, and whether they do allocate any of that money in the next comprehensive spending review. But thanks very much for coming in. That's it for me for now.
Yep, good to see you as always. Thank you both. Thank you very much.